Allergies are killing me.
What time is it where you're at?
6:03.
Oh yeah, so it's not too bad. Yeah, normally I have stuff going on later in the day, so it kind of helps getting on now.
Yeah, that's perfect. All right, cool. Yeah, so let's go through some stuff. I sent an email out to you guys or a text the other day, and a bunch of people responded. I want to just go through and hear what you guys have to say or need help with in regards to like really just stop spinning your wheels and acquire paying clients quickly. Um, we got a small group right now, which is perfect. And so if you guys want, there's some other people coming in. Steven just jumped in. Um, I think just going over kind of like why you guys have your wheels spinning. I know, Jeff, you said like you're trying to get organized, like what's your day-to-day activity, things like that. Let's come up with a game plan to where you can go, starting tomorrow and get clients. So one of our guys in the Go High Level Mastery group, his name is Dominic. He's a friend of mine that I knew before Go High Level Mastery. He's in my entrepreneurial group with me. Um, he was struggling, and this week I had 3 meetings with him. I uploaded two onto my YouTube channel, and
Wow.
and then we had actually, you know what? We had 4 meetings this week, me and him, to help him, and then he booked another one for next week. And he's kind of in the same boat. Like, I don't know if you guys have full-time jobs, like, you guys work during the day and this is like where you want to be. But for him, he works a full-time job. He's busy. He's got 2 kids and he's like, man, I really need something to come to life. And what I told him was just stop thinking about trying to make money. I know that's hard, but focus only on getting the meetings set up because if you can get meetings set up, those meetings will always turn into whatever you want to charge for the consultation call. For me, like I had 4 meetings last week. I charged each one $250. So I made $1,000 just from the meeting. Like that's it. And of those, I'll get probably two deals from it. So if we break this down in steps so that you're not spinning your wheels, you can just focus on getting the meetings. And then where do we find these people? I mean, the easiest place to find these people, the easiest place to sell these high ticket builds and get people to buy from you, just the meeting, excuse me, is is Fiverr, People Per Hour, Upwork.com. Like those are the platforms where people are literally going. Excuse me. They know they have a problem and they're willing to pay for it. And they're just looking to get the right person to work with them. So maybe we just go around the room right now so you can help me like direct the conversation. Like based on what I just told you, do you feel like you're in the same spot? Jeff, I know you told me like I have a hard time like getting out of my head. I'm procrastinating. I don't know where to start. Like I don't know where to go. Is that the same for everybody else? Like, I don't know, maybe raise your hand and whoever's first just go. Like I don't care how it goes.
I'll go.
Okay, yeah, perfect, Kathy.
Um, I feel, and it was for this year, I have several things going on. One is sometimes I feel stuck. Like, where do I start first? Um, Second, I had some background situations going on in my business that didn't make me feel confident in even pitching anyone. So I fixed that. I'm recently fixing that part right now, but now it's like, where do I start? For me, I think I'm gonna start with Upworks because then I can like dig through it because it's so much in there. Um, but still, because I don't know, I guess sometimes I feel like because I don't know the back end of Go High Level enough, sometimes I don't even know what kind of work I'm supposed to be looking for in Upwork to pitch. You know what I mean? Like what, because when I came in, I started learning Go High Level, but because of my business arrangement, they were like, no, just do the sales. Now I'm actually learning Go High Level and building it out with my own. I officially have my own agency account now, starting small, but I have it. But at first I was using someone else's. So yeah, I'm like, when you don't know it as well, what kind of jobs am I actually looking for in Upwork?
Okay. I'm writing this down. All right. Okay. I'm gonna address that. Let's go around and get everybody's thing so I can tie it all together. Jeff, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Um, I say I'm kind of in the same boat, but I had some problems with my Go High Level. Like I didn't have it. It was canceled. So as at the same time as it canceled, I was going through the your course as well as the Lead Gen J, and I have the I guess resources with GSD and Go High Level Mastery. So it's like a ton of different videos and different information that I'm trying to like I guess figure out where to start and able so I can move my agency along to getting customers. I'm jumping on the calls with you. I'm jumping on the calls with with Rahul.
Cody
I'm
and
jumping on
Raul. Yeah.
yeah, and it's like okay, once I get off a call with them, it's like okay, now I'm back to square one again. I'm just going in circles, man. It's I get on a call with you. I'm confident. I'm inspired. I start your videos, and it's like, okay, I still have lead gen videos, and then it's Upwork. It's like so many different things that I'm like, I don't know where to start. And I do. I kind of have some background in Go High Level. I mean, I've been using it for like almost 2 years off and on, man.
Okay.
So it's like, where and what do I do? Again and again. I've been starting over so many times. It's crazy.
Okay. So constantly changing, maybe changing niches, changing.
Not even. I'm not going to say that changing what resources. Like you guys say, pick one thing to sell. Pick one thing. I'm jumping for like now. I just got the AI voice. I've had that for 2 weeks, and then I was gung ho on the custom builds thing, and I just talked to Rahul on Savage Saturdays, and he was like, start with the AI voice. And then I could, as I get into that conversation, like you say, the call and I'm asking questions. If I feel like custom builds can be implemented, that's when I say, "Hey, I have something else here that might suit your business," like in forms of a discovery call.
Okay. 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 Mario, what's up?
I think for me right now, I'm getting into my second month specifically with Brendan and Go High Level, everyone there. Um, Initially I thought, starting up, figuring out everything you need to do is to just learn it to the T on settings and setup and, kind of doing it for myself. But then now newly finding you, I know our last call we talked a little about it, but getting into just getting the sales, finding sales, finding the people to present it to. I had a couple people in mind already, and I'm not, at least with my first guy, my first friend that I'm gonna help with his business, I'm not really gonna go over like a whole customer journey as much because I feel like he's not looking for anything right now. He just has his own stuff going, his own problems, whatever. So in my case with him, I just wanted to start something with him to get some sort of traction, I guess, s- just on what I can feel that he needs, help him grow somewhere, either probably Google on his case right now. He has no website, you don't have no not too many reviews. This guy, I'm gonna start with him as like a case study to kind of grow and then potentially use that into the next presentations I bring to anyone else that I talk to. So I want to try to get something to show that I've done that I can tell the next person, hey, I've done this. Um, if I even if I did find anybody in Upwork or however it is, I don't have too much to show them to say, hey, yeah, this is what I did, this is what we can do for you, or however you present it. Probably be best to join with you on my first few calls to kind of get the ball rolling. I would say to probably show them a little bit more of what the possibilities can be. So for me, I think right now I need to get at least a good routine going on what I need to do because jumping on these calls, I can learn everything I can from Adam and Brennan and kind of learn it, but it's like I still need to put it out there to to use, you know. So I'm right now feel like I'm paying to learn, but it's like I'm not implementing. So I gotta figure out how I need to implement it, what I need to do, what's best to start for my first steps here to get to this point, you know. So it's kind of hard being new in this whole area. It's just kind of putting a whole game plan together to kind of be more confident going into it and then get the ball rolling and then I can kind of probably better figure what I need to get going instead of just thinking, no, I need to learn this and you know, it's kind of I just need to get the traction somewhere, you know, kind of where I'm at right now.
Um, Steven, what about you? And Yusuf, you guys want to chime in?
Yeah, my thing is leads, a little bit of taking action, just like Mario said a minute ago too. I find myself only finding leads on like business cards I pick up when I'm at stores or bulletin boards at the grocery store or trying to memorize some phone number off of a plumbing van that drove past me. I'm new to looking through Facebook for leads, but then I get kind of hung up on just because their emails out there, am I allowed to approach them about selling them something? Um, the last program I was in used to go high level as well. I ended up canceling that account. And it wasn't just completely because I didn't feel like I knew what I was doing, but also because of some of the communication with that group. I was asking people like, how do I set up the website so I have someplace to send people? And they're like, well, you're focusing on the wrong things. Just show the demo, concentrate on showing the demo. Like, okay, but I still need to know where to send people. It wasn't until I did my own digging that I found out I could just use the Zoom scheduler instead of looking for Calendly or having a website set up. So while things seem so simple, if it's not in the instructions that you're paying for, you don't think of that all the time. So little by little making progress, but it just doesn't seem to be happening fast enough. That's all.
Okay, I'm taking notes for everybody because I'm gonna go through all this together with you guys. Yusuf, you have anything that you want to share? I know you texted me the other day too. Um,
Yeah, so I have two things basically. So I guess my main thing is really the initial approach. So like let's say I hop on a cold call or an email. How do I approach them to basically spark the conversation to solve stuff for them? I have my niche. manufacturers, and then I have one that's more specific. Like for example, I was gonna have a client. He was a prospect. It was a gun manufacturer, and we did like the whole proposal build for them. We're replacing Zendesk, and it's a pretty big build. It's gonna be like $5,000. But what happened was on their end, they lost the deal, and so now they can't really afford it right now. But like what I'm trying to do is get case studies. So I'm trying to figure out like, should I kind of take a loss on this and just build it for super cheap to build that case study? Um, and I guess it's just, the approach, building the case studies, and how to do something from a cold approach. Find out the problems they're having, the issues within their customer journey. Because back when I was doing like lead gen, it was way easier, I guess, to do a cold call. Because you're kind of just like, hey, do you need more leads, more revenue? So I guess this ties more into, saving time, some revenue growth. So it's kind of like figuring out how to, you know, put all those things together into a pitch.
Okay.
So that's basically it. Yeah.
All right. So we went through everybody. Well, Andy, what about you?
Hey man, can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, I don't do much. I've just been out going out for some seminars and stuff for the last 2 weeks. So I'm just here sitting in, listening to you guys.
Okay. Okay. And I know, Andy, me and you have talked many, many times since probably August, so this will be beneficial for you. All right. I feel like sometimes I'm not the best teacher, but I'm gonna bring back some memories of what my old bosses used to teach me and tell me. Um, I think the commonality between everybody here with the issues, minus, well, maybe Kathy as well, because she's looking for jobs on Upwork, is we have this mentality that we have to go and sell something, right? So it's like we're thinking along the lines of, okay, we if I take this call, I need to close this deal because I want to make money. And that comes across to a client very, like it comes off extremely clear to them that we're trying to sell them something. If you've ever been on Instagram, start paying attention when you go on Instagram. Which videos do you watch longer and which videos do you instantly scroll past because it was stupid? Like, I mean, I've been paying attention to myself doing this for a little bit. Is like, I didn't watch that video because it didn't catch my interest. It didn't, I don't want to know what it is. The best videos that I find that I end up watching are like a video that you don't know what's going to happen next. I was watching this at the restaurant just a little while ago before I got home. There were these two guys on bicycles and they were just on bicycles and they were gonna ride down this huge trail. It was like a 4-minute video because Instagram added more time to the videos. And all it was a progressive video of them just going down the mountain. And I was waiting for something like someone was going to crash, someone was going to do a jump, someone was going to do something. Like it was like, okay, what's going to happen next? Whereas the videos that I skip are the ones that start out like, you know, let me show you how to make $20,000 a month. It's like, boom, I'm going to the next one. Like for us, maybe we get interested in that because we want to know what that person's doing. But for the majority of people, it doesn't catch your attention. And so what that does is what I mean, if you just go through Instagram and you find commonalities, I know this is kind of far-fetched, but I'll pull it back. But if you understand the journey that it takes for yourself to watch a video from the beginning to the end. Other videos that pop up on my thing are like police videos. and it'll have like a little thing like you won't believe what happened. And it's like, okay, now I have to wait to see what happens. And if we go into our sales calls like that and we break it down into steps, right? We now have the attention of the potential client to listen to us and be like the person that's watching our videos that go viral or go, get a lot of views. And what I think is happening, because I was doing this too, is I didn't understand Go High Level fully to an extent. And when I was trying to get in the weeds of like what Mario said, like I just want to get a case study to use to show other people, right? And so your goal and what you think your goal is that you need this case study to show other people what you're capable of. When I was on the calls with Dom this week, he had a lot of, I told him just focus on Upwork, go to Upwork and just send out as many emails and what do they call them? Proposals that you can, and see which ones hit and who responds. But keep the messaging extremely short. And so people started coming back to him. And they said, well, your profile is like your profile is small. And he was like, dude, see, this is what I'm telling you, I don't have a good profile. And I'm like, bro, everybody has to start from somewhere. Just tell the person, hey, totally agree with you. Although I'm new to Upwork, I'm not new to this world of automations and building out this stuff, right? Because the majority of us here, if you're in the Go High Level Mastery group with Adam and Brendan, you have somebody to fall back on. But or myself too. Like if you need anything, I'll send you a case study, because at the end of the day, if you're in the group with me and Adam and Brendan, we're all doing the same thing and we can all do this. Like I'll share with you a case study and you send it to him and be like, yeah, this is my partner. And then I'll get on a call with you and I can help you with it. But my point is you don't need case studies. I don't even have a website. Like I deleted my website by mistake inside Go High Level that I spent probably 2 months building. I was pissed off about it and I just have not gone back and done it and remade it. And what that's allowed me to do is focus on making money, because I spent 2 months trying to build a website, trying to build out the case studies, trying to do this, trying to do that, which didn't amount to money. And so the sales process, this is the most important part of all of this, is like if you were to go, if you're single, I mean, I have a girlfriend, I'm not single, but when I was, like you see a girl in a bar or a guy, Kathy, and you don't walk up to her and say, hey, like, I like your shoes, let's go on a date. And then in the date, you tell her, let's get married. And I feel as if all agency owners are trying to do that. And it's the same kind of situation as what these Instagram videos that don't get a lot of views on, because there's no build-up process. There's no like separating you from everybody else. It's we want to get a client and we just want to have a conversation. And those conversations start with such a simple, open-ended, just question. So the other day, we were on a call, Dominic and I, and you guys can watch this on my YouTube channel. I'll send you this. Watch this video after this, because we went into this sales call and Dom doesn't have like I'll call it a good profile. He just has a profile that he made with no like reviews or like none of that, right? And so I'm gonna put this video in here. I'll put it in here after the story. And so we went into this call and the first thing that the guy said was, "Hey guys, I'm really sorry. I'm gonna have to reschedule." And one, he probably just looked at Dom's, profile like, I don't know, this guy, he doesn't have anything on there, blah blah blah. And so before this guy left, all I said was, all right, well, before we hang up, like, let me just ask you this simple question is, like, what is it that you need with systems built for your business that you think that we could like work together? And he went from, I have to cancel this call, like I don't have any time, I'm going into another meeting, to we had a 51-minute long call. And he was like, well, yeah, that's right. Like, I don't really know what you guys do. I don't know this. And I gave him a high level approach, but I did it in a consultative way. And I think this is the hardest part, is to understand how to go from a salesperson to a consultant. The biggest difference, I think, between a salesperson and a consultant is a salesperson is trying to convince somebody that you have something that they need. And like, I'm gonna pull this up. Where did I type that? I typed all your guys' questions out, but I don't know where I fucking put it. It's in my Google Drive. And so a salesperson is trying to convince somebody that they need something. And one of you guys said this here. Maybe it was Steven, but it triggered something for me to remember is, remember when we were kids and you had that little toy where you had like a circle, a square, a triangle, a star, and like you can't put the star into the circle hole because it won't fit, but you have to put it into the same shape hole. Well, that's what salespeople remind me of that little child game, because you're going out and you're trying to cold call and you're trying to speak with as many people to fit into the peg that you have. Like if you have a star, you need to convince them that even though they're a circle hole, they need to adjust to your star peg. Like that's what a salesman reminds me of that little child's game, because you're conforming, you're trying to get them to conform to what you have, right? So you're trying to say, oh, I have missed call text back, I can do reviews, I can Stephen was talking about the plumbing, but when you ask an open-ended question, it doesn't matter what shape they are, because you can become the chameleon and adjust to what they want and ask them the right questions in regards to what they need. And what that does is it shifts them from being sold to, right, to convincing them to be sold. Like, oh, you definitely need this, right? So, Yusuf, you mentioned you have a client for manufacturing guns. They lost a client for $5,000, and you're thinking about, maybe I'll do it cheaper to build this case study. So in that situation, you are trying to, and I don't mean this in a bad way, I'm just telling you how we could shift this, is you're trying to convince them that they need this because it's obvious that you want to get the what's it called? The case study. But I'll tell you from here, that case study is not going to match up for anybody else unless it's probably a gun manufacturer. And so now what you have to do is, instead of going to a pool of 1 million opportunities, you're going to a pool of 10. And now you have to find 10 gun manufacturers to convince them to read the case study. And if they read that case study, maybe one of them will say, okay, yeah, I'll take a call. So you just went from 1 million opportunities to one because you did something for less than $5,000, which is what you're worth. based on that, to now you're at 2, and the first one you did for cheaper. And what a consultant would be able to do is say, listen, Mr. Gun Manufacturer, why did you guys lose that client?
Mhm.
It's a very open-ended question. They are forced to answer that question. And whatever they might say, well, they didn't have enough money, they didn't have this, they didn't have that, or, we didn't have the systems in place. And instead of figuring out why they lost that client, you tie that back to the problems that they have. So you can ask a further question. How many times in the past year has this happened to you guys? And now you shift it from you trying to sell a $5,000 custom built go high level automation AI software to them saying, holy shit, this has happened 4 times. That's $20,000 that we lost in the past month, in the past week, in the past year, in the past whatever. And now you're asking them questions for them to ask you the questions of, well, how would you do this? And here's where me and Dom just jumped on. Here's where me and Dom were able to shift from this is, and Dom will tell you, because Dom likes doing this. Dom, I'm calling you out. He likes to sell the end goal of, well, we can do the AI. We can handle those leads coming in for you. We can, send out automated emails. We can do that. No, we have to break it down into a scenario or a pathway, the same way that we're watching these, viral videos on YouTube. You're going into a bar and you're talking to a girl and you're taking her on a date and you're not asking her to marry you within 10 minutes. Because what most people are doing in sales is asking them to marry them without seeing any value. And so in this scenario with the gun manufacturer, I would say, look, I completely understand that you guys don't have the money for it, but if this has happened 5 times in the past year, based on what you are telling me from the questions that you ask them, you guys have lost 25 grand or $20,000 in the past year, which, let me ask you this. What's the lifelong value of a customer? If they buy a gun from you for 5 grand, whatever it is, if they buy a manufacturer, does that ever turn into a bigger deal? Do they have clients that need parts made? I don't know, whatever. And they might say, well, yeah. And you can fall back on the 80-20 rule, right? The 80-20 rule is 80% of your business comes from the 20 best performing clients, right? All the other is kind of just bullshit. So are there any times where you see that becoming like one potential client could be one of your 20% of your business? Yeah. Okay. So how are you tracking that? So now you're asking these questions that they don't know the answer to. And you've shifted yourself from a salesperson of, hey, you should get this because we can automate things for you. We can put AI into it. We can do this, to them saying, I don't really have a way to keep track of that. I don't even know how much my ad spend is happening on there. Now, you don't need to know any of that, because the first thing that you're going to do is sell a $250 project scope document. That is the only thing that you need to do, because that is the first part. It's the same as meeting a girl at a bar. I like your dress. Can I get your number? Maybe I'll text you on Friday or Thursday, but my friends are over here and I'm leaving with them because we're on a bachelor party or we're going to another bar. And you leave the decision up to them. The girl could say, well, I'd love to come. Oh, okay, cool. Or she can say, all right, yeah, here's my phone number, text me. Right? So you cut it off right there and you leave it right there. And you tell the owner or the business owner, listen, My best clients, even if you don't have any clients, use me as an example. Ask me, I'll send you whatever you need. You need my case studies, you can send them my case studies, have me on your calls. I'm very open about this. I want everybody to be in the Go High Level Mastery partnership program so that we can all win. But when you get to this point, you tell them, listen, we can talk about all this other stuff about AI and this and that and the other thing, but to be honest, I don't even know if I can help you just yet. But what I will say is my best clients are the ones who take a 45 to 60-minute meeting with me, and we build out the entire customer journey from the point A to point Z. A meaning they filled out an ad, they came to your landing page, they did something, to point Z where they paid you. And I know, Mr. Client, that you have a bunch of bullshit in between, and that's where the bullshit is holding you back. And if I understand that, then I can maybe put together a proper plan for you. And that's it. And you tell them, listen, I charge $250 for this. I charge $47 for this. I charge $99, $150. I charge $700 for this. Whatever the amount that you want to charge them, that now becomes the first stage in the sales process. Because put yourself in their position. They're super fucking busy. This is their baby, right? They've started this business. Their whole livelihood depends on it. Their wife, their kids, everything. They have probably employees that are churning, that are stealing from them, especially in a restaurant, probably in a HVAC company. I don't know, like people are stealing from them. They have, Christmas is coming. They have like a roof that needs to be done. They have this that needs to be done. They forgot to order a part. One little part delayed the job by 5 days, and the client is like pissed off, and now they're worried about a review. Like they have shit that they don't even know that they have, but they have it, and they can't spend time with you or listen to what you have to do to try to sell them something. But the second that you start asking these questions and you get them to say, yeah, I don't know. I mean, the other day, yeah, a delayed part could affect our shit by like 6 days. And then my wife is mad at me. I can't go to my kid's basketball game. Like there's an emotional standpoint too, but they're never going to tell you that. They'll never tell you that. But you can ask and insinuate things of like, what happens when this happens if that doesn't happen? And so you just sell this $250 document. What's Dom, I'm gonna share our email that we
Yeah,
sent
go ahead.
the other day.
Yeah.
So all right, well, because this is on YouTube, I don't want to share her name and her info, but so this was an email that came from her the other day. Dear Dom, I hope this email finds you well. Here are the key integrations and features we're seeking. Integration with QuickBooks, social media integration for Instagram and Facebook to monitor interactions and streamline the communications. DocuSign, integration for managing electronic signatures seamlessly or using the signature features in our meetings. Excel workbook, the ability to centralize customer portfolios and information, photos, signatures, documents. Our goal is to have an all-in-one solution that enables us to track and manage customer interactions and project details. I was curious if mobile friendly and something like that, right? And so she has this crazy idea. Now, Dom he actually got on the Go High Level Mastery call with us, and we were sitting there and I was listening to him talk, and he was asking about, hey, I have a client that wants to do this, and that. And Brendan was explaining to him, yeah, this is how we would do it. This is what we would do. And I was texting Dom on the call while we were in the call on his phone. Hey, is this for the company that we had the meeting with? And he was like, yeah. I said, okay, don't send an email yet because you're trying to sell them and conform to what this is. Well, now you guys saw the name and email. You're trying to conform to what this is, right? And so, this is
Why don't I pull up my response then? The one that you sent?
Is this your response?
No, that was the previous one to that.
Yeah, this was the first one. This was the very first one.
Yeah, that was after that call.
So what we did, or what I said to Dom is, listen, we need to convey ourselves as the main goal is to get her to book a $250 meeting. That is it. And we need to get the clients to conform to our way of doing things by positioning ourselves as we are the expert. You are coming to me because I am the expert and I have the know-how of making this happen. So we just wrote, hey, I wrote, hey, Abby, thank you for sharing what you're looking for. Everything that you mentioned is absolutely doable, and here's how we work, right? So we're not getting into the details of this stuff because as of right now, why does she need DocuSign, right? Or why does she need Excel workbook compatibility? I don't know that, and
They might not even know that. They probably
she
don't
might
even know
not
that they
even
don't
know
need
that,
it.
right? And so what we need to do is we just need to get her on a $250 call. Now, the call does a few things. The call allows you to filter them. This was about a 40-minute call with me and Dom. Usually I try to keep them under 20 minutes because it filters them. So now I can take 100 calls a week for 20 minutes instead of like 30 calls for an hour and a half. Like there's just no way, right? So I've come up with this program of how to do this. So I just told her, we start with a 45 to 60-minute Zoom call to map out the customer journey and the workflows. During this call, we often find ways to automate processes and save on subscription costs, like replacing your DocuSign because of the partnerships that we have. She doesn't need to know, how that works, right? Our goal is to help your team work on the business, not in it. After the call, our team spends about 8 hours, not you. I put not you so that she doesn't think that she has to do 8 hours, creating a detailed blueprint tailored to the needs based on our discussion. This includes identifying the bottlenecks and showing how a CRM with automation can streamline your operations. We charge $250 for this, which is risk-free. You'll get a comprehensive documentation as you see fit, whether building the system yourself, hiring someone else, or having us handle it for you. So this relieves them from being sold to. They now have a choice. It's the same way as, hey, I'm going with my friends to another bar. You're more than welcome to come, or just give me your phone number and I'll hit you up on Monday, right? So they have the option to choose what they want to do. And there's no pressure. So if this sounds like a fit, please schedule a time here. And now you have, well, when you end this, what we asked this girl, Abby, specifically was, if we do not hear anything from you by Friday, is it cool or should we follow up with you? And she was like, yeah, send me an email if you don't hear back from me, so that when we go and follow up with her, that contact part is, hey, Abby, you told me to contact you because we didn't hear back from you. So I don't know where to go from here. And again, it puts it into it puts the ball in her court. Shit, I did tell them what to do, and now I'm obligated to tell them where we need to go from here, or they could choose to ignore you, but everything gets ended with a expectation. Does that make sense? I don't know if I'm explaining this correctly or well. Maybe Dom, maybe explain your experience for the past week that we've had a bunch of calls about it.
Yeah, so you told them how I found this prospect, right?
Excuse me?
This was a cold call, right? You told them that?
No, I didn't tell them that it was a cold
Okay,
call.
so I was cold calling. I explained to them about the services that I do. Just any cold call would. And that's how we got into this conversation. And then after that, Nick provided you with all that context that's in the email. And
No,
then
no, back up.
back
You told them that you could do ads for them.
yeah. I told them a completely different service
So
that I could
he
do for them.
wanted, so this was Dom trying to sell them something to get them on the call. He specifically told
Mhm.
them, hey, we can get you more leads. And then he
Yep.
contacted me and was like, hey, bro, can you help me with this call? And I'm like, yeah, what are we talking about? And he's like, well, I told her we could get her more leads, but I'm trying to sell her the AI. And I was like, why would you tell her that you want to get more
Yeah.
leads? And
It was a
so,
foot in the door. I
yeah, it
mean, that
was a
was my
foot in the
thought
door.
process. That was my
So
thought
keep
process.
going.
But then we found out later that they didn't need more leads. They needed to process the ones that they have. And so we're like, okay, well, that's even better for us because then we went in with sending that email because that's what she wanted. And then we're like, all right, well, let's get on a call. We got the call, then follow up on Friday. So I called on Friday and she picked up and she's like, yeah, I was just about to actually call you back or send you this email. As a matter of fact, let's do it right now. And then she sent me that email, and then we responded with that final email. Tomorrow, I'm gonna call her up again to confirm, like, hey, so where do we go from here?
Yeah.
Pretty much,
And Dom, you came in a little late, so everybody on the call is pretty much in the same position as you, where they kind of feel lost. Tell them what I've been able to help you with in the past couple of weeks of getting focused and what that's turned
yeah.
into.
So one, shoot, where do I start? Let's see. I've been optimizing my Upwork. That's for starters. For two, you provided perspective, like we talked about the other day, where in my mind it's like you go to a car dealership to buy a car. You don't ask how the spark plugs work, what kind of, all these other details. It's like, how does the ECU push this and then time it right? It's like, who cares about that? The car drives, the engine is running. You don't get to know those little nuances, right? Or Nick, like you said, like you don't go to a ballpark and buy a hot dog asking them how it was made, what facility it was made at, and all these little details, which don't even matter at the end of the day.
Who wouldn't
What
even want to
matters
know
is
what's in the hot dog?
you don't care to know what's in it. You just know that it tastes good and it works.
You
It
just
works
put
for you, it
ketchup
works
on
for
it.
your stomach, you know? So that
Yeah.
kind of put a perspective on it. Like, don't talk about those details. Just talk about the final product as a whole and what value it will provide for them as a whole.
And so you have been calling, you have been cold calling, you've signed up for every single online course, trying to learn a bunch of stuff. Jeff was
Hmm
saying earlier that he feels lost in the sense
The
of
the
uh
biggest
going
the
around
biggest
trying to get
thing
things
for
organized.
cold calling was just the breakthrough I had was just actually doing it and pivoting from trying to hook somebody to getting as many no's as I can. It's like, all right, let me call them. No, all right, that's cool. I'm one closer to closing something,
But then,
you know.
but what I was telling you and
Hmm
what I suggest everybody here does is go and make an Upwork, a Fiverr, a people per hour profile. The reason being is because those leads are not cold. It's not like I need to convince you. The people that are posting on Upwork, I'll bring up Upwork right now. The people that are posting in Upwork are specifically looking for something. So this is like, and this was 23 minutes ago. An
Dude, I have
automation
Upwork open
bot
right next to
builder.
me too.
Yeah, an
I literally have it open
automation
on my other screen.
bot builder, right? Create AI images. I don't know what this is, but they've spent almost $2,000. They're in Charlotte. Integration specialist needed for lead pages. Like you could probably do that, but this goes into Kathy's question. What do I type in? Kathy, I just type in chatbot, sales funnel, excuse me, go high level, right? So I can search for go high level. So here you have set up for bulk SMS and email marketing. This is your way in. If you set them up with bulk SMS and email marketing, which if you're in the Go High Level Mastery group with Adam and Brendan, you literally could charge these people. I mean, I don't know what this is. This is
Dude, I think I applied for that one.
okay.
I put a proposal in for that
So
one too.
this is like you now are getting paid to be on the Go High Level Mastery calls because you're going to sit down, you're going to document all of this, right? So like this is what the workflow and the triggers and everything looks like. And then you map that for them for $250. And then you go into the Go High Level Mastery calls and you say, Adam and Brendan, I need to do this, 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 and this. Can you help me? And now, instead of paying for Go High Level Mastery, which is whichever plan you're on, the $497 or the $597, you charge your client $1,200 to do this, and now you get 2 months for free, and you just keep recycling it and going over. On top of that, Yusef, you start to get case studies and you start to get, things on your profile of what you're doing so that when someone asks you, you can go back and say, oh yeah, I did this. I did, SMS and email marketing within Go High Level. This person, whatever this person's name is, they'll leave you a review. Like sometimes I never pay attention to the amount of the budget that they are going to do. I do pay attention to the country. I don't think, and this is just me being naive, but I don't think someone in Pakistan is going to pay me $10,000. I don't think that that's possible. Because I don't know what it is. They haven't spent any money, whatever. But I typically focus on like this one, $100,000 spent, manage affiliate marketing program. This is easy. This is so easy. And so instead of trying to look, they've spent $142,000 on Upwork.
And the funny thing is, these jobs are always coming up, always being posted.
Every 20 minutes, these jobs come up.
Always.
So you no
So
longer
you're not competing with me or
do-
anybody else around here.
There's not enough people that like if there was 300 people on this Zoom call right now, you still would be able to get jobs. Like there's no way that you wouldn't be able to. And so instead of trying to figure that, so Cody and Raul will talk about find your niche. I don't have a niche. My niche is people on Upwork who need a solution. That's my niche. And this could be a gun manufacturer, this could be a health facility, a medical facility, this could be someone that wants to sell kites on the beach. Like I don't know, it doesn't matter. These are my niches. And so what I do is I just come through here and I will tell you Sundays are the best days to apply because everybody else is not doing anything. Right. So
People
here's
sitting around having a beer or something,
yeah, or watching football. Right.
Yeah.
So like these guys spent $10,000. They need DKIM, DMARC, and SPF, right? I don't necessarily like this would be an easy situation, but you go into the call and you ask them, yeah, I can set this up. What does your business look like? Where are you guys sending emails to? What's the reason? There's a reason why you want these emails to land in the inbox. What's your customer journey look like? Because this is your foot in the door. Okay, I could do that for, $150. That's cool. But there might be something more that they need. And through asking questions, then you're gonna land a bigger job, right? I don't know. I'm trying to look.
Don't you do a video introducing yourself when you upload it or something like that? When you send out your pitch?
Yeah, so like watch, like I'll click on this and I'll act like I'm gonna apply for it. I don't know if they took this away. The other day they did. Oh no, they have it right here. So record video. So It's in beta. But yeah, so like if I were to apply to this one, we're a marketing agency based in Canada. We're looking for a Go Hello expert to help us set up our automation integration and funnels for our client. The ideal candidate with proven success must in a short-term contract. Please provide your previous case study during the application. So I would record this video and say, hey, I saw you guys are looking for a automation expert. And I would tell them, like, your description is extremely vague. I don't really exactly understand what needs to be completed. And what my best clients do is we take a maybe 10 to 15 minute just introductory call. And then from there, we schedule something what we call a project scope document build out, which I have attached to this proposal. In this document, what we do is we create your customer journey. What that allows us to do is you and me become on one page with one another. We're on the same page, which allows me to work with my team of developers to all communicate congruently and efficiently and blah blah blah. And you'll see in this document, right? So like I'll give them I'll just upload this, and in my course you guys have all of this, but like you just attach this file and they look at this and they're like, holy shit, this is organized. Okay, because no one else is sending this to them. And so you just say, yeah, I mean, based on your description, your description is 4 sentences long. We need to build something out so that you and I are on the same page of what needs to be built. If you're interested, feel free to just reply. And what I can do is I'll send you my calendar so that you can pick a time that works best for you and we can go from there.
Or try to do a call to action to get them on a quick call at like 20 minutes.
Well,
And
that is the quick call. So the first call is always 10 to 20 minutes. And again, like inside, so I'll show you what this looks like. I think the majority of you guys have this, but I don't know if you guys are watching these, but inside the course, I have a bunch of 10 to 15 minute discovery calls. These are just 10 minutes. Some of these, like I turn this guy down, I turn this guy down, right? And then all of these people, which I struggle sometimes uploading them, I'm trying to as much as I can. All of these people have paid $250. And then all of these people have paid 7,500, 5,600, 10,000, 8,000, 6, 9, 12, 93, right? And then I did a training with Scott on how to do call number 2 to build this document out, how you can build this properly. And then I started adding our calls, like here's Abby, me and Abby and Dom. This was with Teresa the other day. So now I'm helping them close their deals just to get the $250 project scope, right? So if this girl Abby responds and gets the and buys the $250 scope document, me and Dom will get on it and we'll go through and we'll build out this document so that you have a full understanding of what it is that they want to have built. Now, what this document allows you to do, you don't have any follow-up anymore. So your sales process has become super extremely easy. Am I talking too much? Are you guys following me?
No, I really get it. I'm understanding. You're not
Okay.
talking too much.
What about everybody else?
I got it. I'm taking notes too.
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay.
Yeah, you're good, Nick.
All right. So with that being said, now you have basically created the easiest sales process that there really can be. because the second that they pay the $250, you no longer are hunting them down. They are hunting you down because they're like, hey, bro, where's that document that I bought? So you don't have to follow up with them. So you can send one text message or one email the day that you finish the document and say, hey, here's my calendar. Let's go over it. What you're really doing is you are selling them a proposal. No one sells a proposal to anybody. Like, you're charging money for a proposal at the end of the day. That document, that project scope document, is just a proposal. And so when you get them on the next call after that, after they purchase the call, you're going through and you're just asking them again open-ended questions. It's all in the course stuff that I have
Yes, I
created.
know. I have your course now, the whole thing.
Yeah, so you're now going through that and you're building out their pipeline and their workflow. And you're just asking them, okay, how do you get a lead? Are they calling you from Google? Are they calling you from, or are they, what's it called? Are you running Facebook ads? Like, whatever, however they're coming in. Cool. What happens next? Do they have to come to your business? Do they do a Zoom call with you? If you're a roofing company, do you have to go to their house and check out their you know, their roof? Um, and so let me pull this up. Where did you guys go? All right, I'm trying to pull up the questions that you guys asked me. And so from there, now you're just presenting them on the third phone call their price. Hey, this is what you requested. And so, Yusuf, this is changing you from a salesperson to a consultant because now you've completely built what they want. And the likelihood that they are going to work with you, I mean, just in my numbers, is 83% of the time they choose you and they pay the money to hire you to have this built out. And so and it brings me back to that little child's game. What I was telling you earlier is like, you now can work with a star and a star, a square and a square, a circle and a circle, an oval and an oval, a diamond and a diamond, right? You are the one that's being the chameleon to them. So you don't need a niche because they're the ones telling you what you need. Now, where does Go High Level turn into this? Because there is a little bit of a learning curve that you must have, or a knowledge base of what Go High Level functionality can do and whatnot, to speak highly on that, right? That took me a year to understand. I think that if you are brand new to Go High Level, maybe I mean, this is what Adam and Brendan teach everybody, is like, go into the Go High Level Mastery group, sit through the meetings, but try to keep things super simple, right? And when when you're talking to the client, if they ask you a question of like, hey, how would this work or how would that work? My bosses, every single person in my sales career has always told me, it goes further when you tell the client, hey, I don't know the answer to that, but what I can do is I can ask and I can find out, and I'll get back to you within the next 3 hours if it's that important to you. But what we're doing and what we're building right here in this project scope document, this is a 30,000 foot approach I don't necessarily need to, you and I don't necessarily need to know exactly how it will work. That's why you've hired me. But I can assure you that my team will be able to make this work. It might not be the same way that you think it will work, but it probably can be and will be a little bit more streamlined. We can probably eliminate, automate, or delegate this task to somebody. And at that point, they're like, okay, I'm not worried about it. Let's continue. Right. Whereas if you get caught in the weeds and you're like, well, we could do this, we could do that, we could do this, and you don't know exactly what you're speaking about, you basically just lost all your trust. If you just admit to them, I don't know, your trust went further up. Like that's a really big thing. When I was working in the medical industry, I mean, I was talking to surgeons and doctors and corporate level executives at hospitals, and I'd be in meetings and my boss told me that. And when I would tell them, you know, Dr. Leibowitz, I I really don't know the answer to that, but what I can do is when I leave this meeting, I'll text my boss. If you want, give me your phone number and I'll text you the answer right away. And he was like, yeah, I would love, yeah, that would be perfect. All right, thanks. Keep going. Right. And it just kind of like deflected it of like, okay, he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about, but I trust him because he's going to get the answer for me and he has the right people to get those answers. And that will help you with the sale as well. But I think that it's important that you do understand what Go High Level can do, the capabilities of what it can do, but don't get lost in the rabbit hole of trying to perfect things. Like you don't need to do that until you get the project scope document built, because that's what your first goal is to do, is sell the project scope document. Does that make sense?
Yes, but I have a second question to the project scope document. And you may have said it before, but I didn't understand then, but oh, kind of. Who does the project scope document? Are we doing that through ChatGPT after we get their information? Or how is the customer journey designed? Who's designing that?
Yeah, so when you sell them this project scope document, when they book the time on your calendar and they paid you whatever you requested for them to do this, now on that call, you have to do basically, I would call it a 50,000 foot approach to their business. You will be doing that on the call. Now, what that requires, and I have the little training thing with Scott in my course, right? So I walk him through on how to do that because there is a little bit of an art to it, but and this is where the go high level knowledge comes into play, or not necessarily, it doesn't have to be go high level. It's all about the customer journey. You have to think back because I did one a couple months ago for a company that was like laser engravings on cups. One of their big products was coffins. Um, like a cup is this size, a coffin is as big as me. And so I was asking, like, okay, a cup is easy. You could just get the cup out of the garage and bring it to the laser. But like, if you have someone bringing a coffin, what does that process look like? Like that, you know? So, and then she was like, oh no, we just bring the printer, which is, this big, to the area. Okay, so when that happens, you probably need their address, you need their time. So we're going to have to schedule something. So you have to break everything down like step by step. And what you do is you build the pipeline, right? The pipeline is like new lead. Okay, they filled out a Facebook ad. They came to a website and filled out a form. Mr. Client, are there any other ways that they can get into your ecosystem? Oh, they could call you from Google. Oh, they might text you on Facebook Messenger, or they might send you a DM on Instagram. Okay, that makes sense. What is the goal from that, where do you want them to go next? Do you want them to watch a video? Do you want them to book a call? Do you want them to come to a webinar? Do you want them to have a Zoom call? Okay, so you just break it down step by step all the way through the entire process. But you don't need to know, or like you don't need to know, for instance, a medical company, like they were taking blood, they have to schedule a patient to come in. Patient comes to the doctor tells them, okay, you have to go to Quest or LabCorp. And then from Quest or LabCorp, how does the doctor's office know that they went to Quest or LabCorp, right? Like that part I don't know. I don't know how Go High Level can communicate with what's it called? With the laboratory, right? And so what happened is they have something called an EMR system, electronic medical records, that their system on the other system sent it to the laboratory, and the laboratory has a direct connection with that system. So what did I tell them? I don't know exactly how this will work, but when we go through this, I assume that there are API integrations that can happen, that once Quest or LabCorp or something gets sent back to your system, we can update that and go high level. When we get to that part, we'll be able to figure out a solution. There might be a point where there has to be a human in the loop, meaning someone internally in your team will get a notification and then they click a button inside the CRM system if it can't be automated. I don't know right now, but is that okay for now? And they're like, yeah, that's okay. We can figure that out later. Right? So there's some times where you're not going to know everything and they're not going to know everything, but that's our job to figure it out as we move forward. Right? So you are creating this project, this project scope yourself on a live call with them. And it's really just a conversation of from the time someone finds your business to the time that someone pays you, what is all the stuff that happens? And try to get as detailed as possible, but like what I just explained, like you don't need to know how the connection is going to work. It just like, okay, someone goes to the laboratory and then you need to be notified. That's it. That's all you need to know. Right? Because once they decide that they want to work with you and they pay you $10,000, that's when you figure it out. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So I guess one, does anybody have any questions?
So then, you are Adam, is Adam accepting people to do the builds that are not in the mastery program or that are not in a partner program?
No, the way that works is, I mean, they have to pay their employees, right? So we have a team.
Yes.
There's 4 project managers. I think they just hired 2 more project managers and they hired 2 more developers. And so what I have suggested to them and what's been working is like, I'll be on your sales calls, right? I can help you on your sales calls. I can help you through this entire process. I have no problem doing that. And if we sell it for 250, if I do it, okay, then I'll take the 250 for doing it. Or whatever. We could figure something out. I'm not worried about that. I'm more worried about making sure that you guys are successful. And this is going to come back to, how do I stay focused? Right. So I'll get to that in a second. But the biggest thing is, everybody that wants to use Adam and Brendan and Go High Level Mastery as their basically fractional development team has to be in the group, because the money that we pay for the partnership program, the membership fee per month pays for all of this to operate and for them to hire people, for them to have them on the team. But the idea is, if you're not in a position to getting to having a client just yet, then go and get the client first and let that first client pay for your membership, right? And so let's say, for instance, I don't know, I'll use easy numbers. Let's say, for instance, that you find a client and you do the 250 document and you build out the project scope document. You send that to Adam and Brendan, and they come back and they say, okay, look, it's going to cost us $5,000 to build this out, right? They're going to say, well, Kathy, you're not in the group with us, and let's say you sell it for $10,000. Maybe I should share my screen so that you can see this. I'll write the numbers down. Right, so we have sell for $5,000. The partnership program, right? You have tier 1 is $997. Tier 2 is $1997. This is a 40-60 split them. This is a 60-40 split you. So let's say you, oh no, I'm sorry, this is going to be built for 5,000. You sold for 10,000, right? On tier 1, there's a $5,000 deficit or margin between the 10,000 and the 5,000. So 5,000 times 40%, you keep 2,000. On tier 2, you keep 3,000. Is that right? 5,000 times 60%. Yeah, 3,000, right? Then subtract the membership fee, right? So for tier 1 is 2,000 minus 997. Let's just make it easy numbers. You keep $1,000, right? For tier 2, now this is where the things get this is where this is just an example, but like, let's say you sold this for 20 grand, right? And it costs 5,000, right? So then you have a $15,000 difference, which is 60%. So you keep 9,000, right? And then 40%, you would keep 6,000. So this example actually works out to be the same amount just because of the numbers with the 5,000. Is that right? Did I do that right? Yeah, 2,000. Yeah, I think that's correct.
And it's 1,900 a month then?
Yeah, per month. And that's what I was saying is, like, now this conversation is going to shift to, how do you stay focused? How do you go and make this worthwhile so that you're not paying 2,000 or $1,000 a month, right? Like, I have never paid this amount of money from my own pocket because I've been going out and I've been getting the clients. So a lot of people would look at this and say, oh man, that's expensive. I can't afford that. I don't expect you to afford that. You need to build this out to where you're getting so many clients that you're able to have the client pay for this. Like this is coming out of your profit, right? So if you look at this, like $2,000 extra a month on top of my rent, on top of my car, on top of my insurance, on top of my gas, on top of my food, on top of going out to the movies with my girlfriend and taking care of my kids and this and that, like I can't afford $2,000. But at an 83% close rate for the people who pay $250 for a, what's it called? A project scope document, because that's what I have. You just need to focus on getting $250 meetings. Because at 4 meetings times $250, that equals $1,000. If you got 4 meetings for $250, which I do this all the fucking time, you make $1,000 just for having 4 45-minute meetings. If you take 4 times 83%, that means 3 of these people, these are numbers from me. This is what I've been doing. I have an 83% close rate on the deals that I have had from the people paying me this $250 price. And this is all from Upwork. 3 people are going to pay you like, I mean, these are the numbers. Let's take the averages of these. So I'm just gonna tell ChatGPT to take the average of these so we can make these numbers easy.
And while you're doing that, at this, they're just charging you for the build. We still get the monthly fee that comes to
Yeah, you get
the
the monthly
client.
fee. Hold on, I'm gonna just figure out the average between these so that I can do this. Can you find the average between 7,500 plus 5,600 plus 10,500 plus 8,500 plus 6,000 plus 9,000 plus 12,500 plus 9,300? All right, let's see what the average is. So we can come back here and. Okay, so on average, it's 87.37. 26 to 11. So that's how much revenue you would have come in if you just plus the $1,000 for that. Now, this is not all profit, right? You're gonna take a percentage out of that, but that's probably like you probably make like 9 grand. Like that's like 9K right there. I'm operating at a 41% margin. So here's how we figure that out. 26 to 11 times 41%. Okay, so 10,700. So profit to you is 10,700. This is where you work. You work backwards and you just focus on getting $250 meetings. I promise you, that is the only thing that I'm doing. I am focused on just getting $250 meetings because that's what this turns into. And if you can seriously knock down and lock in the process of what these sales calls teach you, like literally, these are my sales calls. Like I'm not making this up. You can go and watch every single one of these and see every single person that's paid me to do this. And it's all right here. These are my legit sales calls, even with Dom and Teresa. These calls are all from right here. Just submitting a video. Well, this is new. I just started doing that, but submitting this and just going on Upwork every day. Like if I click find work, since we've been on these jobs, since we've been here, we've been on this call for what? 84 minutes, so an hour and a half almost. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 jobs were posted. Today's Sunday. During the week, it's like every 5 minutes there's a new one posted. There's no way that there's any competition between me, you, Dom, Jeff, Yusuf, Mario. Like, there's a million jobs right here. You don't need to cold call. You don't need to go and find somebody and beg them when these people right here are begging them. Just become extremely, extremely good at just reaching out to the person. That's what you should be focused on. How do I get someone to respond to me? Now, I will tell you, these connects, I'll buy another 300 right now, right? So for every $45 that I purchase, actually for every two, so for every $90 that I purchased, I usually land about 2 meetings. So 2 meetings for $90, I receive $500 back. Right? So I just bought more connects. So that's what I did. I don't know. What this does is like yesterday I had 3 profile views yesterday. But I haven't applied to a job in a couple weeks just because I just been busy. But I always like some people will message me and be like, hey, I saw your thing. Can you help me with that? So for every $90 that I spend, I will land 2 $250 meetings, which means that I'm making $500 minus 90. So 490, right? No, it's not. $510. 510. No, 410. So I make $410 for every $90 that I spend. On top of that, I'm averaging an average of 8,000. What was that? That ChatGPT told me between $8,737 in sales. So if you can focus just on getting these $250 meetings from this spot, I'm telling you, this spot is a gold mine. Be the first to apply with instant job alerts. That's a new thing. I don't know, you could spend 65 connects to do that. But if you just focus on this, I promise you that you will start to get business. And then outside of this, like, I'll show you what my stuff looks like is I have been able to generate $3,200 a month in reoccurring revenue from 32,000 in profit. And then this is what I sold it for, right? Well, these two I did myself. So I sold 71,000 for myself in the past couple of months. Does that make sense? I know that
Yeah.
was a lot of stuff.
One last question. Do you have to, if we're working with you, do we have to do our stuff through Adam? Our builds?
Oh, you could do your build yourself. You don't have, yeah, you could do your build yourself. I mean, if I help you sell the build, I'm gonna charge you slash the customer, some sort of amount to close that. But
Of
like,
course.
let's say, yeah, I mean, in that example, I said $5,000 that Adam and Brenda would charge, and you sold it for 10,000. well, all of a sudden you just got the 10,000 and you don't have to dish that off. They're just a fulfillment team. You don't have to use them. But for me, my experience is I sold a build for 10 grand. I spent 3 months building it, and then I'm not getting any more clients, and I'm not that $10,000 does not last me 3 months based on my bills and my expenses. So like I need five $10,000 builds every single month just to keep my stuff going. Does that make
I'm not
sense?
saying me build it. I'm thinking other fulfillment teams because there are other fulfillment teams do exist. So I
Oh
was just
yeah.
wondering if there an issue for if you choose not to be with
No,
Adam. Okay,
I
that's
don't
all.
care if you build it with whoever. Um here's the thing though. I would not want to put my name on a build for a fulfillment team that I don't know because all of this stuff goes on um, YouTube and
Yeah,
I if let's just say something like this happened. You wanted to choose somebody else to work with, which is fine. Um, I would be very transparent or I would be very transparent with the what's it called? The client and say, look, I work as a fractional, sales development representative. Kathy has her own team. I just help bring to the table the questions that need to be answered. But I wouldn't want to put my name on something behind a team that I don't know if they could deliver. And the reason being is because you sell them a $10,000 build. They come back and they say, this guy, Nick Durso, is a scam. He
yeah, I
me
get that.
10
Yeah,
grand and you didn't use my team, right? So I would just tell them, you know, Kathy hired me to help her with sales and you would have to vet that team because I've been working with Adam and Brendan for almost 2 years and I've never had a problem. They know what they're doing. I just don't know the other teams. Now,
if that
if
happened, Nick, I know this goes on a recording. If that happens, I will let you know what's going on because I have to talk to you off um one on one anyway because there's some changes going on. But we'll discuss it because you are one of my mentors. So I'll let you know what's good. Some changes are going on, but I'll let you know. Um, and working with Adam, I don't mind. My concern was that you had sold so much that you had to stop selling. And what if someone starts lighting up the room like you? What if you have all of us all selling so much and then it gets overwhelmed? That was my concern. So,
oh
you know,
yeah, I stopped selling because we had to take on new employees. So
I know,
we
I
hired
know.
four new employees. This stuff just grew so fast that we didn't expect it to grow. I don't think that they understood or knew, how much I could sell. And I was like,
Yeah,
yeah, I can go and sell this. It's not hard for me. And
yeah.
so now we're at a point where things are changing with us too. Like everything internally is changing with new employees, new things coming. Um, so it won't be at that position either in the future because we have Freshdesk, which is the ticketing software. We have a program to certify people to run them through a course to get them caught up to speed with everything. So, you know, it started out as a coaching program, but now it's a fulfillment team and a coaching program. So that stuff will be handled right away. And the other thing is we wouldn't take on a client if we couldn't fulfill it, right? That's why they told me to stop.
Oh, yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, and that was my concern because when I actually do my diligence, like when I'm actually doing what I need to do, um, I've had issues where people can't fulfill what I need to do, and that interrupts me. Um, So I just want to make sure that if I have a main fulfillment team and then I have a backup fulfillment team in case they tell me to stop selling. If I get blessed like you to get that way. You know what I mean? That's all. That was my concern. To always, but me too, my name's on things because I have a name as well. So like I told you, I just finished working with DreamWorks this summer. So yeah, I can't just work with anyone either. And I trust Adam and them because I know you trust him. But I have been introduced to some other things that I'll let you know about when we talk, if
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, since this started, since August up until now, it was kind of like I was like the beta tester. And now it's actually turned into a bigger operation. So I don't foresee it happening again. Like after January 2nd, I'm gonna be turning my sales right back on. Like I'm gonna be going hard again, because we have the team to handle everything. But they just told me no one else is stopping selling. Everybody else in the group has been selling. They're just like, dude, you got to stop. We already have like 10 of your clients. I'm like, all right, fine. So,
Not a
um,
bad problem, but just a concern.
yeah. Does anybody else have any questions? Was this helpful? Let me get your feedback of like when we started this call out from the text messages that you guys sent to me, the emails that you guys sent to me, was this helpful and answering your guys' questions of how this works, how to like, or even like what would be a part two? Like I wouldn't mind helping do some sales training with you guys and role play maybe on the next call of go through this week, get a client, figure out who was hard to talk to, maybe record it, give me the clip notes from your Fathom or whatever, and let's see if I can help you. I don't know. You tell me. Like this is for you guys. You guys tell me what you need.
So I have a potential like prospect. It's a referral. She wants to replace MailChimp. And so I was like, I have a solution for that. But now I'm thinking like how can I maybe upsell her to get a whole custom build?
Okay.
So that's kind of what I'm trying to figure out.
Okay. So the conversation like that would go again, build out a customer journey, a project scope document just for the email stuff. Because what's going to happen is inside that conversation, what's the girl's name? Like Mary? I don't know.
Yeah, we do, Mary.
Yeah, Mary. Mary, okay. Listen, I can totally help you with your custom, your she wants to change it from MailChimp to somewhere else.
Yeah, she didn't like the monthly rate, like the cost of it and like the limit on how many email accounts you can have. I think it was like 12,000 for 130 a month or something.
Okay. So right there, you already have a problem that she doesn't even know. And this just comes with experience of, cool, we're going to transfer this over to somewhere else. Do you know your deliverability rate on those emails? And she might say, I don't know, like how, or ask her, how long have you had this email domain, right? Is that domain transferable, right? Because what's going to happen is she's going to move that domain over to Go High Level, and it's going to be, let's just say it's Mary.com. Well, she's going to put a security blanket in front of that, and it's going to be called like m.mary.com. That m.mary.com now becomes a subdomain for the emails to be sent out. But what she doesn't know is that she has to warm that domain up. So the cost of moving her domain over to a new one and starting over could be pretty detrimental to her business if she's making a lot of money and she has a high open rate and she has a really good email company, like an email engagement. right?
Yeah.
And so now you've just created a problem, but you have the solution. And so you can ask her, like, okay, so you're looking to save money. Do you have any other subscriptions that you use? Like, what other stuff do you use? And she'll say, oh, yeah, I'm using ClickFunnels, I'm using Calendly, I use Quicken books for whatever, I use this, I use that, whatever. Okay. So, Mary, let me just understand this. Are you worried about saving money, or are you worried about like being capped at that 12,000 emails because you have to pay more money to grow? And that'll be a valid question, because now she's gonna think and she's gonna be like, I don't know. I don't really, either she's gonna be like, I don't really know why I want to change, or she's gonna be like, no, I want to change because I have a list of 25,000 that's gonna come in, and you know, if I send 25,000 out through MailChimp, I'm not gonna be profitable. Okay, cool. What I would suggest is we map out how this whole customer journey would look like for 25,000 people from the 12 that you currently have. See where the savings would come in on, switching from MailChimp to another service. But I'll be honest with you. I work with a group of people that, I don't know if you're familiar with this, but in January of 2024, the rules for emailing has changed. Google, Yahoo, Bing, Outlook, they've all changed their emails from being delivered into inboxes. If you go to your Gmail account, you'll see like a promotions tab. You'll see all these little tabs at the top where you'll end up in that. And if we switch from one spot, from MailChimp, which you're telling me that you're getting 90% delivery rate,
Mm.
and we switch it over to another system, you might lose your entire thing overnight from just switching that. So it might make sense to do it in steps and milestones and progress that way. What I suggest, and what the majority of my clients have done that have been successful, is we build out a customer journey document. And in that document, we can figure out where those emails need to be sent, but also how do we drive more revenue from a different aspect of your business. You see how that went from, you're not trying to sell her something, to, I know what the fuck I'm talking about, and I've created these problems that now you need me to answer these questions. And that 250, there's a gap between there. It cost me $250 to figure out how to get to 25,000 emails being sent out that she has in her head. She knows that for every email, she probably makes like 50 cents or $1 or $2 or whatever.
Yeah.
For 250, she's going to be like, oh shit, this guy just told me like some serious stuff. So again, it goes to the beginning of this call. It's like meeting a girl in a bar. How do I get her number? After you get her number, how do you take her out to dinner? After you take her out to dinner, how do you get her back to your house? After you get her back to your house, how do you guys move in together? After you guys move in together, how do you get married? Right? And if you go into it of like, she wants to get her MailChimp set up properly, you could do that. But if you don't know all the things about that, like what I just explained, that just comes with experience. Like, I just know in January and February they changed their laws, and warming up the domains on a subdomain is not as easy as it used to be. Like, you can't just bring everything over into what's it called? Go high level.
Yeah.
I use something called Mail Meteor, which checks the spam words, which actually Go High Level is going to come out with in a couple weeks. Look, this is what I use right here. I'll share my screen and show you. So like, Mail Meteor spam checker. So like, this is the free tool. but like you can't use financial, you can't use privately owned funds. So every email that I send to you guys, I run through here first. Like you'll see, like I had a sales call. I can't even put that. You'll see in my emails, I'll say like I had a Zoom chat because Zoom chat works, right? This, if I had sales call, this will go into the spam folder. But if I put a Zoom chat, or sometimes you'll see like I have an 83% close rate, I can't even put close rate. And I can't even put percent because that'll end up in spam. So I have to put like 83% deal close or something like that. Like I'll change it. You'll, or maybe not even deal close. I'll talk to ChatGPT all the time because you'll probably read my emails and be like, why did he say it like that? I understand what he's saying, but it's because I want to make sure that it lands in your inbox.
Mhm.
And if I didn't, and I put 83% closed deals, oh, maybe that's what I do. Maybe that's what I do. But like there's words that will pop up that you can't get to land in the inbox. So those types of things, you got to be a little bit knowledgeable to talk high level, pun intended, to the client of like, that's what separates you from everybody else trying to sell them shit. Because if you tell them a problem before they even come up and you refer back to this $250 document, they're going to see value in that and they're going to be like, huh, nobody else told me, everybody else told me they could do it, they could do it, they could do it. This guy's telling me before I even look at this, we need to build a document and he's going to charge me money. He seems more legit. And you're no longer a salesperson, you're a consultant, right?
Yeah.
So that's the way that's just how I've been taught. And I was taught to do that in the medical industry where everybody else was trying to sell them like a medicine or whatever, and I would just go in and be like, well, how often do you do this? And the test come back positive, but then when you do the surgical procedure, you don't see anything. Like that happens all the time. Like how annoying is that? That's probably because you're getting a false positive because you're using a DNA test. And they're like, what are you talking about? Come in my office. And that was it,
Yeah.
right? And so it's consultative selling, but it's like you kind of like leave it open-ended. Like let them figure it out themselves, right? One thing that's coming up this week, do you guys know who what's his name is? Russell Brunson from ClickFunnels.
McDonald's, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He has a, I put it in the chat right here. He has an event coming up that I'm gonna go to. It seems pretty, oh shit. I'm gonna send it to everybody. It seems pretty legit because obviously it's Russell Brunson, but he's having a sales seminar, which is like I think from 11 in the morning until 5 on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And then there's an option to buy the recordings, but this is sales. It has nothing to do with Go High Level. I don't know what it is, and I don't want to confuse anybody. I'm trying to throw you off the path, but what I would suggest from today's call is just focus on Upwork, Fiverr, and people per hour and these platforms, but there is a sales aspect to it. So I'm gonna go to this what's it called? Sales event with Russell Brunson. I have a couple meetings in between, so I'll have to jump out and jump in. It's on Zoom. There is a way, there is a a recording one available. I didn't buy it, but I might buy it. Or I wonder if there's a way I could record it. I don't know if I would be able to record it on my screen. I don't know. I'll have to see. But I'm gonna go to it. I think it's 3 days or 4 days. And it's a sales thing. I mean, this guy sold $1 billion online. So I think he knows what he's talking about. And I just like to learn more tactics. I learn as much as I can from Alex Hermosi and Jeremy Minner and Russell Brunson and the sales stuff. But I wanted to share that with you guys so you could do that. Yeah, Kathy, I do have Loom, but the thing is like it's 5 hours long or 4 hours long each day. I have other things that I might have to do. I have meetings that I have to leave the meeting, so that means I'd have to have like another computer in my bathroom where no,
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly. Yeah.
so I don't know when I'm gonna end up. Yeah, maybe Camtasia as well. He also has a thing, I didn't look at it, but there's a way that I could just buy the recordings. And I don't know how, I mean, it might be worth it if it's really that good. I don't know. It's probably like 60 bucks for the recordings or I don't know. I don't know how much it's
You
gonna
got a
sell.
link?
Now, I know that he is going to sell something in this whole thing. Don't get caught up in what he has to sell. I would take it with a grain of salt. If you guys are just starting out, don't go spend more money on tools, on programs, on this. I'm just telling you what has worked for me is just go to Upwork and fucking sell it. And then once you start getting into the pattern of doing that, then go experiment and buy shit. Like Jeff, stop buying shit. Andy, stop buying shit. Don't buy the AI bots. Don't buy the things. I would buy the a sales course because no one really is teaching sales. I suck at teaching sales. I don't think that I can teach sales. I just spoke for probably like I don't know what 2 hours. But for me, I don't think that I explained everything well enough. Like I don't think that I do a good job doing it. It's just me rambling. Maybe you guys think that I do. But I don't think that I'm a good teacher. I don't think I'm a good scuba diving instructor. I don't think I'm a good sales instructor. I don't think I could teach you how to ride a motorcycle. It would just be like, just get on the bike and just fucking go. I don't know. So I apologize if I'm not helping you guys, but I think that this is helpful.
No, you're right. And it's probably from your background. I know that when I was in corporate, you get a lot of sales training on top of product training. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Like, I mean, I would have to fly to San Diego or Chicago or whatever all the time. And this trainer, his name is Bob, the best sales trainer ever. And I'm trying, when I talk to you guys, I try to remember the things that he said of like how to do it, but I don't think I convey it that well. That's
Well,
why
I
I just record all my calls and then you guys can see it and eventually you guys will probably be able to hear it or pick up like, okay. Like Yusef, I don't think that I explained that thing about the whole email stuff to you in a way that you understand it to where you could go and do it now. I think you understand the concept, but it's like, okay, Nick, how do I do that? Like, what questions do I need to ask? Right? So that I'm not good at. And I think that's where Russell Brunson would be able to come in and explain it. I don't know. I'm gonna go to it. If I can record it, I'll give it to you guys. I don't know how to do it, but I'll figure it out. I'll just give it to you guys.
do you have the link to the training? Is it a free training?
I just put it in the chat right here. No, it was like $99, I think, for 4 days. Let me see what it is. or $102. I don't know, it was something.
Hmm.
I bought the cheapest one. There was one where like you could get, let me see. Do you see it in there, Kathy? I just sent it to you.
Yes, I do. I do.
Look,
I see it now.
yeah, it's $100, and then there's some upsells. So get the event notes and a workbook for $27, which
Hmm.
that might help. The secret show up hacks, a 50-minute video training where I reveal 7 virtually unknown secrets to get more people to show up to your live presentations. It's a funnel. I mean, you go through the whole thing and he's trying to sell you stuff. I mean, that's what his business is about.
Do you like him over Jeremy? Or are they both the same?
I think Jeremy is more like person to person sales. Um, Russell Brunson, I think he's changing himself into being more person to person, but Russell has like, I mean, I look at these funnels, like these are the funnels that work. They look so cheesy, but they work. I mean, he's sold billions of dollars worth of shit through these little funnels with a video, a lead magnet. I both of them are good. I've just known Russell Brunson way longer because, when he came out with ClickFunnels and the books, I read every book and I was blown away and amazed by it. Um, it's like Uber and Lyft, right? Russell Brunson to me is like Uber because he was the first one, and then Jeremy Minner and Alex Ramosi are like Lyft. Like they're kind of the same, but like I'm a little bit more loyal to Uber or Russell Brunson just because I started out with him.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You know. So, all right, well, this is almost 2 hours. I think that I hope that I answered everything. I hope I helped you guys. You guys have my phone number. Text me, email me, whatever you need, and I'll see you guys next week.
Cool. Thanks for the help.
Yeah, it helped a lot, man.
Thank you.
We know where to start.
Yeah,
Thanks, Nick.
go to Upwork. And the other thing is, you don't need like the reviews and everything when someone asks you like, oh, even put in your profile like I'm new to Upwork, but I'm not new to this industry. Like you could just say it straight out like that. People would rather see that like, oh, okay, I get it. Yeah, he's new. But Dom went on YouTube, which I did too. Just type in like how to optimize your Upwork profile, how to optimize your Fiverr profile, and then just search for the ones that one probably have the most views, and two is like the title is probably like, I don't know, how I made $1 million in 1 year from Upwork. I mean, I would just trust that over how I made my first $50 on Upwork, right? Like go big or go home. So just look at on YouTube and find how to optimize it efficiently and perfectly, and then just follow that. So,
For sure.
Cool. Sounds good.
all right. All
Thank
right,
you.
cool guys.
Okay, Nick.
All right. I'll see you guys next
All right,
week.
Thanks.
y'all.
Appreciate it.
All right.